Hello, and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video, we're going to look at the last deck from Coldsnap, which is Snowscape, which is a deck that cares all about snow and snow mana and snow permanents. Oh, it's great. I love this deck. Really excited to talk about it. So, we have the deck list here. So we've got 27 creatures, which is a lot, for a blue-black deck. Normally we expect, quite a lot of spells. We've got 6 enchantments, 1 instant, 2 artifacts, and 24 land, and mana curve off to the side there. All the land is snow land, so yeah, that's the theme of the deck, is just a bunch of snow permanents, things that interact with snow, and yeah, this is the kind of the core of the deck here. So, one of the rares in the deck is Haidar, Rhinewind Master, so 5 mana for 3/3. 2 colours and tap, return a permanent to its owner's hand. Play this ability only if you control 4 or more snow permanents. So, all your lands are snow permanents, so you're pretty much always going to get this ability off. It doesn't say non-land. I always have to point it out, but it doesn't say non-land, so you can bounce lands with this. Yeah, Haidar is really, really strong. Like, if and I speak from experience because this deck kind of was a really good jumping point to make like a blue-black snow deck of my own, and Haidar is very difficult to deal with when he gets going. Like, if your opponent doesn't have an answer to him, yeah, they're in for a bad time because he can just keep repeatedly bouncing something for 2 mana each time. One thing I would have liked actually would be if his ability required snow mana. I think that would have been more in line. Like, if it had been 2 snow mana or something, just to really tie home this theme that like he obviously really wants snow permanents. But yeah, it's fine as it is. Yeah, Haidar is a super good rare to have in this deck, and he really fits the theme of what it's trying to do. And then you have Haidar's friends. So you have Rhinewind Cryomancers, 2 of those. 4 mana for a 2/3, 1 and tap, counter and activate ability, but play it only if you control 4 or more snow permanents. As we've discussed, that's not really much of a much of a requirement when all your land are snow permanents. Yeah, so this one, the Rhinewind Cryomancer is, I always feel like of the 3 Rhinewinds, she's like kind of the awkward middle one, because countering activated abilities is obviously a good effect, but it's not useful all the time like the other 2 are. But yeah, it's still pretty good, and be able to do it just for 1 is really, really good. And then Rhinewind Task Mage is the other one. 2 mana for a 1/2. 1 tap or untap a permanent and activate only you have 4 or more snow permanents. Yep, he's also super, super good. Really glad there's 3 of them in the deck. Just a really useful ability to be able to tap and untap stuff. Again, for only like 1 mana. Yeah. So all these Rhinewind cards are really, really good. I really wish there'd been, I don't know, like a 4th one. I don't know what would have been, maybe like draw a card or something. But again, only if you have snow permanents. I don't know. I just, basically, when it comes to like this part of Coldsnap, I wish the set had been larger, so it could have done more of this really, and we could have had a whole deck full of these rather than full of like Ice Age and Alliance reprints. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, these really good start off to the deck. And then the other rare of the deck is Rhymefeather Owl. So 7 mana for an XX flyer. Its power and toughness equal to the number of snow permanents in play. So that's not just your permanents, it's everyone's permanents. So if you were playing against another one of these other Coldsnap pre-constructed decks, you could potentially get more of it out of that. So I don't think you've got any ways of getting this out any faster than it would need to be. So this is pretty much always going to be a 7/7 anyway. But if there's a lack of snow permanents, you can pay 1 colours and 1 snow mana to put an ice counter on a target permanent, and permanents with the ice counters in them are snow. So you can turn permanents into snow, increase its power and toughness. So yeah, very expensive card to get down, but really, obviously, a lot of potential, I think, and just like that's usually gonna just win the game just by being a massive flyer. So yeah, really pretty good rares to have in this deck. We have a single Balduvian Frostwaker, 3 mana for a 1/1. You can play 1 blue and tap to make a snow land into a 2/2 flying creature. It's not until it's not even until end turn. It's permanent. Oh, I didn't realise that. I always assumed it was until end of turn. That's pretty interesting that it is permanent. Oh, well, Well, that is, that, to me, that implies it should be a rare, but wow, the fact that it does it permanently is very interesting. Obviously, making your land maybe permanently vulnerable to kill spells or burn spells or whatever is risky, but yeah, just turning, I mean, it doesn't say you have to do it every turn, just turning a land into a permanent 2/2 flyer is pretty useful. So yeah, really, really good uncommon, actually. Again, I do wish the ability had required snow mana just to make it a bit more like on theme, but it's fine. It's fine. Two Frost Raptors, so 3 mana for a 2/2 flying. It's a snow creature, so already it's like just Windrake stats, which is perfectly fine. And then for 2 snow mana, it can gain Shroud until end turn. So yeah, really good. I mean, it's basically Windrake with upside, so yeah, perfectly good costed card. A single Chilling Shade. So two colors and 1 black for a 1/1 flyer, and it's a shade, but you spend snow mana to give it +1/+1 till end of turn, which is really good, because normally shades require black mana, which means putting them in like a multicolored deck makes them weaker because you can't always guarantee to have just black mana. But in this, all your land produces snow mana, which means you can always pump a lot of mana into Chilling Shade. So yeah, Chilling Shade, really, really good inclusion, really good card as well. This is the deck I think that best exemplifies Coldsnap. I think like it takes the ideas of Ice Age and Alliances and really builds on them by putting this spin on them with snow mana. Rhinebound Dead, 3 of these, 1 black mana for 1/1, and you can pay 1 snow mana to regenerate it. So in this deck it's better than Drudge Skeletons because it's 1 cheaper than Drudge Skeletons. You can regenerate it with when you've got islands. Yeah, really good small stalling creature. And then a single Blizzard Spectre, so 2 colors, 1 blue and 1 black, for a 2/3 flying snow creature. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you choose one. You either return a permanent that player controls their hand, or they discard a card. So again, it can hit lands, which is like super mean. If someone can't stop this, you can always just keep putting them back 1 turn by just keep bouncing their lands. The fact it doesn't say non-land permanent is really insane to me. Yeah, again, like just a really good snow creature. 4 mana, like really perfectly costed for this ability. It does this thing as well, like if they've got nothing discarded, you can bounce something. Yeah, super good card. And then 2 Zombie Mushers, 4 mana for a 2/3, has Snow Landwalk, which it's not always going to crop up, but yeah, it's fine. And again, it has regeneration for a single snow mana. So even if it doesn't get the Snow Landwalk ability, at least it's a 2/3 with very cheap regeneration. And then moving on to the the Alliance and Ice Age reprints. So we have 2 Drift of the Dead. So 4 mana for an XX Defender. Its power and toughness equal to the number of snow lands you control, which is all your lands. So I think at the very least when you play this, it's a 4/4, which which is for 4 mana is expensive for a wall, but the fact it's just gonna keep growing. The fact that it has power as well is actually really good. It's not just gonna block. Whatever it blocks, it's probably gonna kill as well. So yeah, like pretty good wall to have. A single Gangrenous Zombies, so 1 colours and 2 black for a 2/2. You can tap and sacrifice it. It does 1 damage to every creature and every player, but if you control a Snow Swamp, which you will, it does 2 damage to every creature on each player instead. So this is a way of kind of like sweeping the board, getting rid of like lots of small creatures, kind of spreading some damage around. Yeah, I mean like a kind of a little bit of anti-synergy. This kills like a lot of your own creatures. But if needs must, it's fine, I suppose. You don't have to use the ability. A single Phantasmal Fiend. I have no idea why it's in here. I don't. It doesn't really follow the theme at all. But it's 4 mana for a 1/5. You can pay 1 black to give it +1/-1 till end turn, or you can pay 1 color and 1 blue to switch its power and toughness till end of turn. It's like it's an okay card. The art is kind of cool and old and freaky, and I like it. But I don't really know what's in this deck. It doesn't really follow the theme in any way, but it's okay. Easy card to cut. And then 2 Legions of Limdal, 1 color and 2 black for a 2/3 with Snow Swamp Walk. Yep, fine. And then We have some creatures which obviously these are not too good. These are easy cuts as well, in my opinion. So 2 Mistfolk, 2 blue mana for a 1/2. You can pay 1 blue to counter a spell that targets them, which is honestly that's like a pretty good ability. I mean, you could just have them be Shroud, I suppose, or like Hexproof, and that does a lot of the work already. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, like you can do this thing like if your opponent casts a spell that targets multiple creatures and Mistfolk is one of the targets, you counter it, and potentially it's a big game swinging play maybe. I think it's fine, honestly. Honestly, yeah. Storm Elemental is not so hot, I don't think. So 6 mana for a 3/4 flyer. 1 blue, exile the top card of your library, tap a creature with flying. 1 blue, exile the top card of your library. If the removed card is a snow land, Storm Elemental gets +1/+1 to end of turn. Yeah, I'm not so hot on this. Like exiling cards from your library without really knowing what they are. That's probably just me being kind of like a casual player, not wanting to like get rid of my cards for effects. But like these effects are honestly pretty weak. Just tapping down flying creatures. I mean, yeah, if you need to, obviously you can do it, or just paying 1 blue and exiling card just to give him +1/+1 if it's a snow land. So yeah, just not great in my opinion. I would expect that bottom ability to like give higher power and toughness, but like I'm judging it maybe a little harshly. It is a much older card. Yeah, and then a single Viscerid Drone, 1 card and 1 blue for a 1/2. Sacrifice a creature in a swamp, destroy a non-artifact creature, it can't be regenerated. So not color locked, which for like an old card like this is actually a big deal. And you can sacrifice a creature and a snow swamp, which all your swamps are. Destroy a creature, it can't be regenerated. So if you upgrade to a snow swamp, you can get artifact creatures as well. I don't know what the flavor of this card is meant to be. I don't know why sacrificing a creature in a snow swamp can let you kill any creature. I don't know why a weird little lobster person can do that. I don't understand the fluff at all. But I think it's fine. It doesn't require mana. Sacrificing a land is a big kind of ask, I think, and a creature. But if it's just destroy a creature with no restrictions, I think that's okay, honestly. A single Chill to the Bone. Really upset there's only 1 Chill to the Bone in this. Really would have liked at least one more. So 3 cards in a black instant. Destroy a non-snow creature. Which that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's just, and this is a great card to like use when no one else plays Coldsnap, because this is pretty much a guaranteed kill on anything because no one else is going to be playing snow creatures. A single Browse, which is kind of like this notorious old blue enchantment. 2 colors and 2 blue. Enchantment. You can pay 2 cards and 2 blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 1 into hand and exile the rest. Which is like that's a big. I think that's a big make or break ability, honestly. But it lets you dig for 5, and it doesn't then like gum up the top of your library. It's not like you look at 5, you pick 1 and put the rest back or anything. You are getting rid of all 5 cards. It's kind of a big gamble to take, but again, it's one of these things. If you want to take the risk, it could win the game. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's an interesting reprint, at least. 2 Essence Flares, 1 blue for an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0, which is weird to see on a blue aura, honestly. But at the beginning of the upkeep of the Enchanted creature controller, it gets a -0/-1 counter, so you get this power boost, but then you like basically start slowly dying. So you could use this in a kind of as a really janky like removal spell if you wanted to. Or just a way to get extra damage through on a creature that's attacking. It's fine, I think. I think it's okay. Then a single iceberg. So this is I'm going to point this out as a little bit of a weird thing. So Coldsnap introduced adding snow as a super type, so you could have like snow permanents, like snow creatures or snow enchantments. So it's really really weird that iceberg is like. I mean, obviously it's an older card, so it's before that happened. So it's so weird to see iceberg not be like a snow enchantment. It's very strange. But X and 2 blue. Comes into play with X ice counters on it. 3, put an ice counter on it, and you can remove an ice counter from it to add 1 to your mana pool. So it's this. It just acts as kind of like a way of, building up some mana, and like it's just kind of like a little mana battery. When you want to kind of maybe have a little bit of a burst one turn and just kind of get out more, it's okay, I think. Two Snow Devils. It's just an aura, gives the enchanted creature flying, and weirdly, it's a blue spell that gives first strike. Enchanted creature has first strike as long as it's blocking and you control a snow land. So this is actually kind of an okay thing to put on Drift of the Dead, I suppose. Um, but yeah, it's just a weird old card, I suppose. But it's yeah, for a blue card to be in first strike. But again, it's perfectly fine. You're always going to have a snow land in this deck. Just the fact it gives flying gives, obviously makes your creatures evasive. It's okay, I think. A single Arkham's Weathervane. So 2 colors and tap. Target snow land is no longer snow. 2 tap. Target snow land. Target non-snow basic land becomes snow. That it's not until end of turn. Actually, I've just noticed again. That's a permanent change. So this actually goes really well with your creatures that have snow land walk. Which is really, really interesting. Obviously, like some memory issues here, like you probably want to use counters to track what's become snow and what isn't. But yeah, really weird. That's not until end of turn. It's just forever. That's now you've got a snow land. So my zombie mushers and legions of Limdol can attack unblocked. A single Cold Steel Heart, 2 mana artifact, snow artifact. Comes to play tapped, you choose a colour, and it taps to give you 1 mana of the chosen colour, which is, perfectly fine mana rock. And then a single Frostmask, which is the non-basic snowland, dual coloured, gives you blue or black. Again, perfectly fine. Again, only one. Really wish there'd been 2 in here, but it's okay. So, what could have been? So let's. I'm going to go off track with this. So, sorry, I had to cough there. So let's talk about the 1 black card that should have been here, I think, which is Rime Transfusion. So it's an aura, goes on a creature, 1 color to 1 black, and you can pay snow mana to make sure the creature can't be blocked this turn except by other snow creatures, which is like a really good evasive ability. So that's the 1 black card. I think as far in terms of blue cards, it had all the blue Snow Matters cards in here. So let's go off track here and talk about adding a 3rd color to this deck. So in the because there is there is technically a 3-color deck in Coldsnap, the Beyond the Grave one, but that is barely 3-color. It's mostly red and black. The only green card in it is Sekuar. And I would argue it's not a 3-color deck. It's red black, and he's the 1 green card, so it's not even really 3-color in my opinion. This deck should have been 3-color, I think, because it should either add red or add white to it. Either make it like Grixis or Esper colors, because in red and white you've got a lot of cards that care about snow. So in white you've got Gelid Shackles, which is a snow aura, goes on a creature. It's basically pacifism but snow. Squall Drifter is this little flyer that you can spend snow mana to tap creatures down. And a Darker Valkyrie is this big snow angel, flying in vigilance, and it brings creatures back from the dead under your control. So 3 really good snow creatures there. But I think red would have been a lot more interesting because you've got Scred then, which is a really good burn spell. It does damage equal to the number of snow permanents you control to a creature. So it's a really high ceiling of how much damage it can do. Goblin Rime Runner is just a snow creature, and it has, I've covered it up, but I think it has some sort of like evasion ability related to snow creatures. Can't remember off the top of my head. Karplusan Wolverine, Karplusan Wolverine is a 1-drop 1/1 snow creature, and whenever it becomes blocked, it does damage equal to the creature. Does damage to the creature blocking it before it does combat damage, which is okay. Oron Yeti is kind of a bit blah. It's like 4 mana for 3/3, but it's still a snow creature, and you can spend snow mana to give it first strike till end of turn. And Rhymescale Dragon. This would have been so interesting, I think, instead of the owl. The owl is fine, but a big ice dragon is a lot more interesting. So this interacts with the Rhyme Feather Owl anyway, because it uses ice counters, but in a different way. So yeah, 5 red for a 5/5 flyer, 2 and a snow to tap target creature and put an ice counter on it, and then creatures with ice counters them don't untap. So super interesting, especially to see like a red creature have this ability of freezing stuff down. Yeah, really interesting. I think that could, if you'd added red into this deck, make it black, blue, red, and then have Haidar and Rhymescale Dragon as the rares, I think this would have been such a good deck. It's really good at the moment. because it served as such a good springboard into building a blue-black snow deck, which was like one of my favorite decks for like a really long while. But adding red into it for those extra red cards would have been, I think, so good, so good. So if you can't tell, I really like this deck. This is out of all the Coldsnap decks, this is definitely my favorite, just because it was doing. Not that it was doing something different. I mean, it was. It was introducing all the snow stuff, so it was doing that. So I suppose something new, and it was doing it well, and it was doing it right, and showing off a bunch of all these interesting interactions. And I would have loved if Coldsnap had been a bigger set, and there'd just been more cards like the cards in here that cared about having snow permanents, like interactions with snow creatures or snow permanents or whatever. I just wanted more of it, you know. So yeah, I really like this deck. Yeah, that's all I can say about it, honestly. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this deck? Did you own it? Did you play with it? What are your thoughts on snow in general? Because we've had snow a few times, obviously in Kaldheim and a few Modern Horizons sets. Like, what are your thoughts on snow permanence, snow mana? What do you think about that? And what do you think about this deck? Please put comments below. I love reading comments. But we are now done looking at these weird little Coldsnap decks, so we are going to move on, and we're going to next video we're going to start looking at Time Spiral, and Time Spiral is, I think, without exaggeration, like one of my absolute favorite blocks in the game's history. I'm gonna have to like really control myself when I talk about Time Spiral, because like that is a set about like nostalgia and references, and like it just feels absolutely tailor-made for me. So I've got to try really hard not like for every card to be like, this card is a reference to this card, and this card is a reference to this thing in the lore and stuff. So I'm gonna have to try really hard not to go too off topic when I talk about Time Spiral cards. But I'm really looking forward to talking about those decks, because Time Spiral, I think, Time Spiral is my favorite child. Like, Time Spiral can do nothing wrong. It is pure perfection. But we will pick up that next time. I hope you've enjoyed looking at these weird old Coldsnap decks, because it's such an obscure set, and it did a lot. I think it did, as I said in the first one, I think it did a lot right, but there were a few things it could have done a little bit better, and some of its mechanics were sort of explored again when we looked at snow in other sets, but Snowscape by far and away, that's my favorite of all these Coldsnap decks. So yeah, next time will be Time Spiral, but until then, thank you for watching and listening. Have a great day.